Hey everyone, it's Michael Groff here to talk to you about your roof. With an active monsoon season expected this year, you need a name you can trust, and that's why you should call Blackstone Roofing Group for all of your roofing needs. Call for your free inspection today. Big or small, they do it all. Tile, shingle, or flat roofing, they can help, offering free inspections and more. Roofing made easy. Call 602-536-9363 or visit blackstoneroofing.com to schedule your free inspection today. And if you tell them Michael Groff sent you, they'll take $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Again, that's 602-536-9363 or blackstoneroofing.com. It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Monday, the 23rd of June. I'm Michael Groff. Dry conditions, temperatures remaining below average today, even tomorrow, but a warming trend will take place through the rest of the week and heading toward this weekend, where we will get really toasty once again, daytime highs exceeding 110 degrees. But we are looking to the south and east for the signs of the monsoon, and that moisture is gathering up across central and northern Mexico. Will any of it get up here into the state? What about some rain chances for us? When might we start to see those thunderstorms that we get so accustomed to this time of year, the last few years notwithstanding? Well, we'll get into all of that and everything else as we dive on in. Let's check it out. The almanac from yesterday, and almost an Arctic chill in the air. 99 degrees was the afternoon high. 79 was the morning low. The last time we had a high temperature under 100 degrees on the 22nd day of June in Phoenix. You have to go back to 2019, and before that, you have to go back to the year 2000, and that, at least in 2000, was because there was actually rain, 0.15 of an inch. So it's not too often that we have sub 100 degree high temperatures on the 22nd of June. I believe 87% of the time, the high temperature on June 22nd is at or above 100 degrees. Now, of course, we'll be a little bit above 100 today. Averages, though, 106 and 81. There's that record high of 116 degrees. So you can see just how hot it certainly can be this time of year. Outside now, just before 11 a.m. Sunny sky out there. Not too terribly bad. We're at 91 degrees at Sky Harbor. Dew point's 45. Humidity 20%. Wind from the south at 10. The barometer is steady. Temperatures out there right now are mostly in the 80s to low 90s across most of the metro area. And once again, high temperatures this afternoon, a few degrees warmer than what we saw yesterday, somewhere in the upper 90s to about 103. Satellite picture out here across the west, that deep trough that's brought in the cooler temperatures, it remains in place. It is beginning to weaken a bit, and it will remain for the next couple of days across the state. So we'll have a pronounced southwesterly flow. That's a dry flow of air for us, but temperatures will remain just a little bit below average. Well, you talk about below average temperatures. We saw snow up across parts of the Northwest. From the Cascades to the Sawtooth Mountains, around Yellowstone, absolutely, June snow. And so things are going to start to warm up as we go through the week out here in the West. Here's the watch warning map, and you talk about where the heat's located. It's in the east, really east of the Mississippi, across the Great Lakes, the Midwest, and the Northeast. We've got heat advisories and extreme heat warnings from Milwaukee to Detroit to Columbus, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, all the way up into upstate New York and New England. And New York City, they could see high temperatures around 100 degrees tomorrow. And with that humidity, it will just feel absolutely oppressive. And those heat advisories even extend down into parts of the southeast U.S. And of course, it's generally always hot in the southeast U.S. this time of year, but heat advisories down there are just a National Weather Service criteria when the heat index is slated to be at or above 105 degrees for a number of hours during the day. No heat advisories for us right now, although probably later this week we'll start to see those extreme heat watches and eventually warnings creep back into the picture here. Convective outlook for today, we've got that standard risk, level 2 out of 5 for severe storms. That extends from northern Kansas up through Iowa, Wisconsin, into the UP of Michigan and lower Michigan as well. The broader risk extending down into parts of West Texas. There could be a little thunder in the far southeast corner of our state today. Somewhat better chances of thunder down there tomorrow and Wednesday. And yes, there is moisture across northern Mexico. Right now, with southwesterly flow, most of that is going to stay to our east. But for how long is that going to be the case? All right, check out the tropics. First in the Atlantic Basin. Hey, we've got some action out here. We've got an area of disturbed weather, the National Hurricane Center giving that a 70% probability of development into a tropical depression or storm. Now, technically, is this really the kind of storm that they would have classified as a tropical storm or whatever 20, 30 years ago? Probably not. This is one of those kind of more of a mid-latitude subtropical systems that they'll probably wind up giving a name to. Whatever. That's a soapbox for another day. We have talked about that occasionally on these videos. But whatever the case, it is likely to be the first named storm of the Atlantic Basin. But here's the good news. It's not going to impact anybody. That's just going to be out in the middle of nowhere. It'll be a fish storm, so nothing to get too worked up about. In the East Pacific, hey, we've got another area of disturbed weather out here. In the next 48 hours, a 10% chance that develops, but better than a 70% chance that develops into a tropical storm over the next 7 days. And if it does, it gets the name Flossie, and it continues the record streak of the earliest that we will have gotten to six storms. Yes, six storms in the Eastern Pacific. And if that does occur before July 1st anyway. So we are on quite the torrid pace in the East Pacific for tropical storm development. All right, around here, precipitation outlook. This is valid through Monday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing statewide. Yes, we could see some light precip across the eastern and southeastern portions of the state. Generally, rain amounts 1/2 inch or less. Somewhat heavier totals over parts of central and eastern New Mexico as a deeper monsoonal moisture exists down there. And with those active tropics continuing, that would only help to fuel more monsoonal moisture. And yes, we're asking the question, when might that start to come our way? That's a legitimate question as we start to get into the last week of June and early July. Well, we'll figure it out right now if we can by checking those models, see what the future may hold. Here we go, the GFS, the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Start as always with the upper look at 500 millibars. This is about 18,000 feet off the ground. And this really tells the story of what's going on through the atmosphere. Big ridge in the east. Upper heights have been around 594 decameters under the center of that. We still have the trough out here in the west and sort of the battle of air masses in the middle. And that's where we've had the showers and thunderstorms and the severe weather the last few days and that terrible tornado around Enderlin, North Dakota. And unfortunately, lives were lost in that. And we had a lot of property damage from strong straight line winds across the Dakotas and parts of Minnesota over the weekend. And it is severe weather season in the northern plain states. But for us, out here across the Southwest, what all of this means down at the surface for the rest of the day today, we've got sunny sky and temperatures still just a shade below seasonal averages. Highs upper 90s to about 103. The average high for today in Phoenix, 106 degrees. So we'll be a little bit shy of that. For tonight, clear sky. The air is dry. Overnight lows in the 70s for most of us, maybe around 80 or so in the urban core. But we actually saw some upper 60s across parts of the valley last night. So that's pretty good for late June. Let's go to Tuesday. High temperatures a little bit warmer. Highs 101 to 105, but that's still maybe a degree shy of average. Here is, and you do see the showers, some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, maybe just nosing into east central and southeast Arizona. Most of the deeper moisture stays to the east of us, though, as this trough is weakening, but the flow aloft remains out of the southwest. Here's Wednesday. That trough continues to weaken, and high pressure will slowly start to build back in. So we'll still continue with scattered showers and storms across New Mexico and northern Mexico, a few showers and thunderstorms across the eastern part of the state, and maybe even getting as far west as southern Gila County. That is probably a little too bullish on the outlook, but We may, if you look way off to the east later this week, you might start to see those afternoon cumulus clouds, those cumulonimbus clouds building up over the mountains, well east of the superstitions, way out there into Gila County, but they'll be out there. But for, of course, here in Phoenix, it'll stay dry. Highs will be around 101 to 105. We'll warm it up a couple more degrees on Thursday. Highs 104 to 108. The sky's sunny, air dry, but again, a few showers and storms across east, central, and southeast Arizona. That'll be a threat through most of the week. Here's Friday. High pressure continues to build, and still a few showers and thunderstorms over east, central, southeast Arizona, maybe trying to nose a little bit further to the west. We stay dry. And high temperatures approaching 106 to 110 here in the valley. So with high pressure building in, temperatures are heating up. Let's keep going. This is Saturday. We might still see a few showers and storms in the afternoon and evening hours well east of the valley, but the big story is going to be the heat. Highs 107 to 111. This is Sunday. Highs 110 to 114. And again, some isolated storms over the higher terrain of eastern Arizona. But one thing does seem to be evident, and that is this ridge is trying to establish itself across the southwest. But there is a little caveat here. Another weak trough may exist just to the west. And so, unfortunately, that's not going to allow this ridge to fully expand. But at least it'll be around enough to where we'll start to see at least a seep of moisture, a little tap of moisture into the eastern third, perhaps even eastern half of Arizona as we get to a week from today. This is Monday, the 30th. It's the last day of June. And of course, that means we're just getting ever closer to the start of the monsoon. At some point, it's going to come in here. And again, high pressure is around across the southwest. Its exact position, a little unknown. We've seen a number of different solutions. This kind of has it sitting right over the southwest. So some moisture will be around. Let's keep it going. And you can see here on the synoptic chart, again, some showers and storms over northern Mexico, a couple of storms across the eastern part of the state in the afternoon hours, again on Monday. So we'll have a threat pretty much every day for at least a few storms in the eastern part of the state. But they'll mainly be confined to places like Douglas, Bisbee, Sierra Vista, up toward maybe Safford. I suppose an outside chance we might see one push toward the Tucson area at some point, or maybe closing in on Globe later this week, but still pretty far to the east of Greater Phoenix. Out 10 days, this is Wednesday, the 2nd of July. And okay, model spread kind of grows a little bit here, but the overall message from the global models is that high pressure will continue to build across the west and the southwest United States, and we'll start to see more of a southerly to southeasterly component to the mid and upper level flow here. And if that is correct, then monsoon moisture would continue to increase, and we'd start to see somewhat better chances of showers and storms. And so perhaps by the middle and latter portion of next week, we could see a few showers and storms coming into the forecast here in Greater Phoenix. Right about the time, right around the 4th of July, which historically speaking is rather close to when that should happen. Just for fun, because this is one deterministic model and we certainly don't want to base a forecast around that. Let me show you, this is the European AI model. It's about the same time, next Wednesday, the 2nd of July. And it's got this, the ridge kind of setting up around the Four Corners or over Colorado. And if that's right, southeasterly flow. And so that would set the stage for scattered, mainly afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms over the higher terrain, widely scattered storms in the lower deserts. We'd be getting into that copy-paste sort of monsoon forecast. And temperatures would still be pretty hot, but not quite as much so. The humidity levels would start ticking up. So this is something to look forward to. We're getting into a decent, consistent message from the models. Now, does this mean this is what's going to happen? Not yet. Things can obviously change. We are watching kind of an active pattern in the northeast Pacific. We continue to see these rather anomalous areas of low pressure. And if that's the case, any one of those could displace the ridge. But The model trends the last few runs have sort of backed off on that, so maybe we will start to see better chances of storms in here. I know that's always a concern. People are getting antsy for the start of the monsoon season. All right, and rainfall for Phoenix. This goes out through the 7th of July. This is off of the GFS Ensemble, and look at this. Pretty much every member shows rain at some point over the next 2 weeks. Many of them are out at and beyond 10 days, but you see the ensemble mean creeping up to about 1/4 of an inch. Hey, that's something. That's something. We'll take it. European ensemble, not quite as bullish. The GFS has certainly been more aggressive. We kind of saw this last summer as well. The GFS was far more aggressive at precipitation. The Euro was not. Historically, as long as I've been doing these videos and as long as I've been tracking the ensembles, the European has always had a little bit more of a wet bias, but the last couple of years have not been the case so much. So it'll be interesting to see which one of these kind of dominates throughout the summer. And then temperatures off the national blend of models. Look, reality is it's June and we're heading into July. And, expecting a high of 99 degrees is not very realistic on most days. So we're going to warm it up. Highs will get back toward around 110 degrees by later this week and exceeding that this weekend, but maybe trending down afterward if deeper monsoon moisture comes in and we start to see rain chances, but that won't be probably until after or right around or after the 4th of July. Maybe Mother Nature's fireworks. That'd be nice. I prefer Mother Nature's fireworks over over people lighting off actual fireworks. Believe me. And you know what? The pets prefer that as well. All right, that is going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell. Leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really enjoy what we do here, you want to support the channel, please do. And yes, you're always supporting the channel by liking and subscribing and watching our videos. But if you want to donate to us monetarily, click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube, or you can donate via PayPal. GroffShow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's GROFFshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Also, our Venmo is linked up in the description as well. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle, check her out, blogs, videos, everything Michelle related and likely Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description, so check that out. Also, our streaming station, it too is available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music and have a lot of fun with that, so give that a listen. Also, it is the most chaotic mix of music. I promise you will not be disappointed, unless you are, but you'll at least have to concede it is the most chaotic mix of music. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, all of your continued support. So greatly appreciated. Please be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves a delightful rest of your Monday.